Hello, Western Oregon sports fans, and welcome to this edition of Wolves Weekly. Joining me today, we have head men's basketball coach Craig Stanger. We also have a special guest in studio today with us, Kyle Long. Well, Coach, I want to talk to you about this one. I think early in the season, whenever you get that new schedule out, you always probably look to see when you have to take that Alaska trip on the GNAC conference schedule. You guys went up there, always a tough one, middle of winter, everything else like that. I'm sure you weren't on the beaches up in Anchorage or anything, but you guys got to go 1-1 up there. Not bad. You kept the season, the momentum going. Talk to me a little bit about that trip and just some of the games you played up there.
Sure. It's always a tough trip, as you mentioned, and Anchorage is a very, very good team this year and has done a nice job. And we still felt going in that we'd been playing fairly well and we'd have an opportunity to take both games. Wasn't able to happen, but Anchorage did a nice job of executing to take us on that one. And Fairbanks, we were able to hold off actually a great offensive effort by their Parish West to get that win. That was a big one for us. And
I want to talk to you a little bit, especially about the Fairbanks win. It seemed like it was a really tough battle, close at halftime, tied all the way through. And this really speaks volumes to your year. You guys have been able to pull out a lot of these close games. That was a 4-point win. You guys were able to come away 89-85. I'd like to actually hear a little bit from you, but first I'd like to turn over to Kyle Long, who's joining us today out of the Wolves locker room, and just hear a little bit about how you guys focus on and what you guys do to win these close games. You guys have been able to go win 5 of the 6 games this year decided by 4 points or less. Talk to me about what you guys do to win those close ones.
Well, we just try and stay focused and calm. That way we know we can win games when we're close because we can stay focused and calm. So.
Well, Kyle, you especially, you were able to score 7 points down the stretch as the Wolves were able to pull away and get that win. First of all, you hit a 3-pointer, and then you were able to come through with 2 free throws. Does anything change for you shooting, we'll say the first 4 minutes of the game versus the final 4 minutes of the game? Anything different go through your head?
No. As a shooter, you have to focus on all the shots are the same. All your shots are going to be the same if you're at the beginning or the end of a game. So my focus doesn't really change. I'm going to be shooting it the same at the beginning or the end.
People always look at free throws, and I know that's the easy one you always focus on when you see, a close game. Everybody's like, they missed this many down the end. But is there any other goals for the team? Defense, other things like that? I mean, I know you don't want to just look at the offensive side of the floor.
I mean, we have a lot of team goals that we have posted in the locker room. I'm not going to really get into all those, but we want to make sure that we're able to box out. We want to be one of the top rebounding teams.
Fantastic. I know that obviously is very important, especially in not allowing second opportunities for the team. If you're trying to win a game, I'm sure it's points per possession. If you get that rebound that closes out the possession, they got to be an important part there.
You bet.
Well, it's got to be important for you. I mean, I know that when you watch some of these games, losing those ones at 4-point game, that one can always feel like a loss and a half in and of itself. Does it mean anything more to you when you win the close ones, Coach?
I don't know if it means anything more, but it definitely builds confidence in our young men and how they attack. And we've got a great bunch of guys, and they know how to play well together down the stretch. That's helped because of players like Kyle and Blair, been in the program now for 3 years, and that's really helpful. So having that veteran leadership has been a key to our success in winning those types of close games.
And I'd actually like to talk to some of these veterans about it. I'd like to start actually with your backcourt that you have going there. When you think of veterans, people maybe first of all jump right up to senior. You have two juniors in your backcourt that have been with the program for 3 years, and a third, Jordan Freelander, who has some good experience down at the junior college level. I'd like to hear a little bit just about that trio of guards that you have back there that are all juniors, but at the same time, Weed and Long are old juniors.
Yeah, they are, because both of them had to play significant minutes as freshmen and as sophomores. You don't normally see that, but we were in a situation where we were depleted in those positions. We didn't have the upperclassmen then. And so they had the opportunity of sort of getting baptism by fire and playing a significant amount as both freshmen and sophomores. And that's really helped them to mature basketball-wise a little quicker maybe than others. And so now as juniors, they are playing like seniors. I think that's been a big part of it.
And that backcourt trio right there, they actually combined to score 45 of your 89 points on the, so half your points basically. Always an important thing that you know where your scoring's coming from.
Well, we do have strength in a variety of areas, but definitely our guards, those 3 guys have done a nice job.
And I just want to make a mention of this one before we move on really quick. Blair Whedon, with his 20 points against Fairbanks, moved into the GNAC 1,000-point club. He is now only the 42nd member to ever be in the 1,000-point club. So nice little note there for Blair Whedon. I'd like to talk to you a little bit that I've seen some unique stuff going on. Western Oregon, I know every coach probably wants to have a little bit of uniqueness to them, but I noticed that you guys run a zone, and not just the 2-3 zone that people think about it. I'd like to hear a little bit about what you guys are doing with the zone and maybe why you guys are doing it.
Well, we do it for a variety of reasons, and we don't want to divulge too much, but essentially we feel it's very important to get other teams to react to us. And by us doing something unique and different, you've got to prepare differently for us as you come into the week that you're playing Western Oregon. We've practiced it a lot more than you've practiced going against it, and so that's one of our main focuses, is to get people to do things that they aren't normally accustomed to doing.
And I'd actually like to hear from Kyle Long a little bit. One of the gentlemen that plays that zone for you often, playing on one of the wings, I believe it is where you're at most of the time, Kyle. Just what opportunities does that create for you, the Western Oregon defense, being in the 1-3-1 versus maybe the 2-3 or something like that?
Yeah, for me, it creates, well, I'm on the wing, but I play a lot of the top. With me and Jamal Veal, we switch whether we're at the wing or we're at the top. But for me, I can get in the passing lanes pretty well because I have fairly long arms for my size, so I play the passing lanes. And I think as a team, it's tough to come down and run your offense against an extended 1-3-1. So it's hard for them to come down and set up their offense.
Do you guys try to make it pretty long? You talk about getting in the passing lanes right there. Is that your goal to really, you say, extend that 1-3-1, not pack it in, but push them way out to the perimeter?
Yeah, definitely. Especially at our wing spots, we like to stay extended and push them up high. That way they can't penetrate down the middle.
I'd like to ask you if it's caught on at all. Have you seen other teams? Have you had to face a 1-3-1 in the time that you've been in the GNAC?
No, teams that, if they run zones, are more packed in the middle.
Well, that makes an interesting note right there then, that Western Oregon's running a little bit of a unique thing that you're not seeing from every other team. It's not every other team's coming through with a 1-3-1. So that makes right along with what Kyle said, a little bit of uniqueness, that preparations that maybe is not something that you see on every week.
Well, it is unique, and if you think about it, if teams are man-to-man defense and they spend 70 or 80% of their practice time both offensively and defensively working on those components, we're going to have the advantage because they haven't had the time to really prepare for that, and it gets them out of what they normally like to do. And it has put our players in a good position. Kyle and Blair both are up in numbers of steals. We're able to get some transition situations out of it. Anyone that's a coach out there or played the game or know the game, obviously there's some holes and problems with the 1-3-1, but there are holes and problems with any defense, and the key is to work really hard in the defense that you have, to sell out and to do it as hard and as well as you can, and if you do so, you're going to be in a position to be successful.
Fantastic. Well, I'd like to turn a little bit right now and talk. We're halfway through the GNAC season right now. You guys have completed 9 games. You guys are right now 5-4 on the season, and you guys are actually right now in 5th place, only half a game out of 3rd place right now alone. I'd like to talk a little bit just about the GNAC. Right now I'm looking at the thing. You have Central Washington, Alaska, Anchorage have kind of distanced themselves a little bit, but right after that, you guys have 5 teams all packed right in there. It's 5 teams all within 1.5 games of being in 3rd place. Just talk to me about why it's so competitive, why everything's so equal, I guess.
Well, that shows just how equal the conference is. There's a great parity from top to bottom. They're really, even though those 2 teams have started to pull ahead by a couple of games, we're all right there. There isn't a drop-off in talent, and so games every night are going to be very competitive, and there are no nights off. A lot of times you'll be in a conference where, well, if you show up and go through things, you're probably going to get the win. Well, that isn't the case in this conference. Even Simon Fraser with 1 league win, obviously Fairbanks with 2, Billings with 2. Those are extremely talented, very athletic teams that are very good, just the record doesn't show it. And so you have to come ready to play each and every night, and you have to have your best performance every night to go forward. And right now it is a cluster right there in the middle with all of us, and after Wednesday night we'll be tied for 4th with either Western Washington or Seattle Pacific, and and it's going to be very important that you take care of those close games, you take care of those opportunities that are given you, so that you can get that separation, because down towards the end of the season, I think it's going to be a close race.
I'd like to go right back to Kyle Long and ask him a little bit about Coach Stanger over here mentioned the opportunities that presented to you. Right now, you guys are 5-4 on the season, middle of the conference, but just talk to me about the importance of each game throughout the year, building both climbing in the GNAC standings and then also setting yourselves up for the GNAC playoffs and where you guys might possibly play there.
Yeah, I'm very excited about the playoffs. It's the first time we've had this, so every game's important, because if we can make sure that we get 4th place or above in league, then we'll be able to host a playoff game, and that'll be exciting for us.
And what are you guys doing to take advantage of that opportunity? You guys have, I know, a couple games at home this weekend. That has to be an important start for you to, get a couple more wins in that win column for you.
It's always good to play at home. We got a pretty good record so far at home, and our guys usually tend to shoot a little better on the home court.
Fantastic. You guys always do have pretty good lighting in that gym and stuff, it looks like. You guys do seem to go pretty well. Kyle Long especially going for 2 different 30-point performances at home this year. Always must see the hoop there pretty well, I guess.
I'm not going to put any more pressure on him. It'd be nice if he'd do that a couple more times.
Well, we're not going to that one, but I'd like to talk to you about the games that we have this weekend.
Sure.
We have some unique games this weekend. Montana State Billings is coming into town on Thursday, and then on Saturday we have Seattle Pacific, who always a great game, but that night is also interesting. We'll get right back to the teams really quick, but that's also Military Appreciation Night, and it's a doubleheader with the women's game. So come out. It should be a great night of Wolves basketball. Chance to see some competitive teams, which Coach Stanger is going to go over right now, but also chance to support the Wolves after you guys have been gone for a little while. So talk to me a little bit about this Billings team and Seattle Pacific, who you've had the opportunity to see both of them now.
Last time, going out against Billings, a very athletic team, a good post presence as well. Guards are quick. We didn't get out of the gates very well. They kind of jumped on us both ends of the floor, built a commanding lead. I think they got up as much as 24 points on us early in the second half. To our players' credit, we did a nice job of battling back. In fact, we had a chance to tie it at the end, even being down that much. So our guys are hungry for that opportunity to get back at them. That being said, they just lost an overtime game against Seattle Pacific on the road. So they're going to be very tough to stop, and we're going to have to play well at both ends of the floor, but we're looking forward to that opportunity to try to get them.
And then the Seattle Pacific game. I know Western Oregon fans came up to me. You have no idea how many people came up to me after this one, just talking about how excited they were, how many people watched the game on videocast. It created a lot of buzz for the season. You guys played them on December 31st. You guys played a couple home games, but that was, I believe, the 3rd or 4th GNAC game of the year. It was a nice way to start. Tell me what we're going to see from that team, and I know you would never talk about it, but maybe how they've changed with the loss of one of their players.
Well, they have changed. They did lose. When we played them, they had one of the best players in the conference in Chris Banchero. He is now out due to a season-ending injury, and that's always unfortunate. So this time they are short his abilities at the point guard position. They're also very good and very deep in a variety of other positions. They've learned now to play without him. Sitting at 5-3, they suffered a couple of defeats, but they're very talented. They shoot the ball very well, have a nice post presence, and we are going to have to take care of the ball really well, shoot really well, and get them disrupted a little bit more on the defensive side of things. I think that was a key to our success last time, is they never felt quite in sync against our defense, and we aim to do that again and try to get them to shooting a poorer percentage from the three-point line.
Well, Western Oregon fans, the men will take on the Montana State Billings Yellow Jackets on Thursday at 7. Just remember, on Saturday, as part of the doubleheader with the women's, when they take on Seattle Pacific, it's actually at 7:30. But make sure you come out for the women's game beforehand, which will start at 5:15, and just enjoy a whole night of Wolves basketball. Tickets are still available by calling the number on your screen or by visiting WOUWolves.com.
This is Kyle Long, and thanks for watching Wolves Weekly.